cancer, diabetes, heart disease, dementia, all these conditions and more. As we get older, we start thinking about these diseases, these conditions, and maybe one of you or somebody you know, unfortunately, is battling one of these. My heart goes out to you if that is the case. There's another condition though. It's lurking beneath the surface. You may not be aware of it. It does not get much attention, unfortunately. It kind of flies under the radar, but it can absolutely steal quality of years from your life as you get older. And I want to speak to you about that today. Hello, my name is Eric. I am a PT physical therapist. Been doing this a long time now. And I specifically work with active seniors on how to increase their quality of life as they get older. And that other condition that I'm speaking of is our ability as active seniors to produce power. And I want you to think of power as being able to gather a lot of strength and then use it, express it very quickly. Unfortunately, as we age, we lose that ability drastically. I made this chart, kind of a crude chart, but I think it'll give you a good visual on just how that is happening. We have age on the bottom and percent of power going up the side here, and 100% being optimal power production. In our third decade of life, in our 30s, we start to lose the ability to produce power, 1% to 2%. And each decade after that, the percentage of power starts to decrease more and more, up to the point between our 70s and 80s, we can lose 50% of our ability to produce power. So it really starts to nosedive, and even more so after that. So we're losing power precipitously as we age. Why is this relevant? Why is this important? Because it is your ability to produce power in your later years that will enable you to do everyday activities. I'm speaking of the basics: getting out of a chair, out of bed, out of a car, showers, driveways, stairs, up and down off the floor, picking your grandkids up, chasing your grandkids, all those activities and more, suitcases, grocery bags. That is all dependent in your later years on your ability to produce power. Also, safety-wise, as we age and as we lose power, statistically speaking, your prevalence for falling increases dramatically. Even to the point when you're 75 to 80 years old, you can have a 50% chance, a risk of falling. So the risk of falling increases dramatically as we age and as we lose power. Needless to say, this has to be addressed. In fact, I would say that if you are an active senior, your ability to produce power should be your priority in terms of the way you are exercising. I think all exercises have benefit, but power-based exercises should be at the top of your list, should be your priority, because as I stated, if you cannot produce power in your later years, nothing else is going to matter. You're not going to be able to get out of that chair safely. You're not going to be able to get out of the shower, stairs, all that and more. If you cannot produce power, you're going to be at a greater risk for falling. So power-based exercises should be at the top of your list right now. And you can certainly start them today if you do not have any medical contraindications to exercise. If you are not in pain, you can start power-based exercises today. You do not need any equipment. You need very little time. You can do it right in your bedroom, wherever you need to. There's 3 criteria, though, for it to be an ideal power-based exercise. Number 1, it has to be weight-bearing. Number 2, it has to be a full body movement. Number 3, it has to include speed. Let me give you an example. Again, if you are not in pain or have any contraindications to exercise, you can start this today. General exercise, we all know this one, a squat, right? So does it meet our criteria? Yes. It's full body, it's a full body exercise, it's weight bearing, and we can include speed into it. Start slowly, get your mechanics down. Get your mechanics of the squat movement down. Once you can do that consistently, I want you to really ramp the speed up. The faster I go, the more force I have to produce, and that means I'm increasing my power outage. Your power is dependent on these magical fibers, these fast twitch muscle fibers. Type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers are what allow us to produce power. As I stated earlier in my diagram, as we age, we lose power because those fast twitch muscle fibers are atrophying. We're losing them, so we can no longer produce power. If you start to include power-based exercises, as I demonstrated, body weight, full body movements with speed combined into it, you will start to engage. You will start to stimulate those fast twitch muscle fibers. Consequently, you'll be able to produce power. You will never be able to produce the same amount of power as you did when you were 20 or 30, but at least we can start to slow this process down. So when you're 75 to 80, instead of having lost 50% of your ability to produce power, maybe it's only 20% during those ages. And again, that can make all the difference for being independent and having quality of life in your later years. I hope that's helpful. Please think about this. Take this to heart. I've been doing this a long time again, and I've seen so many active seniors with good intentions who exercise, but they never included power-based exercises into the routine. They hit 75, 80, and they start to struggle. They fall. They're no longer able to do the activities they enjoyed before. So please, as I said earlier, I keep stating this, prioritize power-based exercises. If you have questions, I will leave my email down below. I love to respond. Please send me an email. If this is interesting for you, if it makes sense, I have created a power-based exercise course. I call it the Core 7, where I go into great detail in describing and demonstrating. It's a video course. I demonstrate the 7 best power-based exercises that I think all active seniors should be doing today if your ideal is to have quality and independence of life in your later years. I will leave a link below to the Core 7 course also. Hope this is helpful. Pass it on to anyone you know. I think this is information that really has to get out there. Thank you for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.